Hello and welcome to this section where we're going to continue learning how to use math inside of Excel and write formulas, and we're going to gradually ratchet up the complexity. This is not going to be too difficult or of a concept, but we do need to get into some real examples so that you can see how you might use Excel on a day-to-day basis. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a company right now. We're going to sell t-shirts. We're going to sell green t-shirts and we're going to sell red t-shirts. And we're going to use Excel to calculate some things about our sales. So let's say we've been in business for a year, so we want to record sales data for January all the way through December. So let's go ahead and go January, and notice that we grab the fill handle and we can see that our months are populating in like that. Okay, so we've done that. We're spilling over into the next column, so we can just gently nudge it out. So these are the months of the year. Now, there are two kinds of t-shirts we sell, green t-shirts and red t-shirts. So I can record the quantity of green, and I'll hit Alt-Enter to wrap it down. Shirts sold. And I'll just bump this out just a little bit like that. All right. And then I will also record the profit per Alt-Enter green shirt. So basically what we're trying to figure out here is we know how many shirts we sell every month, and we know how much profit we make per shirt. Maybe we make $2 of profit per shirt or something like that. But don't forget, we also sell red shirts. So we'll put quantity of red, Alt-Enter, shirts sold. I'll bump this column out just a little bit. And then I'll say profit per red, let's do Alt-Enter to pull it down, red shirt. All right, so profit per red shirt. So we have the quantity of green, the quantity of red, and we know the profit we make on each of these shirts. So for the green shirts, let's just say that we make $1.65 profit on every one of those shirts. And the profit, that means for every shirt I sell, I make that much money after I've paid my expenses. So let me copy this down, because for this particular calculation, let's say that we make a constant $1.65 per shirt every month of the year. We don't get any better deals, better sales or anything. That's just how much we make. On the red shirt, we make actually a little bit less. We make $1.44. So we're going to drag that down like that. $1.44. All right, so that is how much we make profit on each one of these. Now, how many shirts did we sell of green and how many shirts did we sell of red? So we're going to have to type some data in here. So I'll just put some stuff. We're just a small business. We're trying to make ends meet. And basically, and December was a big year because that's Christmas, right? And let me go and put just some random numbers. Looks like we sold, a little bit more of some of these guys here. So we'll do 14, 12, but then it gets real thin toward the end of the year. Maybe people really don't like our red shirts very much toward the end of the year, but we sold some really good amount of red shirts here, there. So my question to you is, if this is the kind of data that you've collected based on your business, how will we calculate how much money we made? So forget about February, March, April, May, and all that. Just focus on January. How are we going to calculate profit for the January month? So I'm going to skip a column and I'm going to type in monthly, and I'll put Alt-Enter to pull it down, profit. Right now we're only concerned with calculating the profit for January. We'll worry about the other months later. Well, we're going to do a formula. So let's hit Enter, or I should say let's hit equal sign. So what it is how many green shirts did we sell times the profit for every one of those shirts. So it's going to be how many green shirts multiplied by the profit per green shirt. Now, if we stop the calculation now, it'll just be how much profit we made on the green shirts. But we need to add to that the quantity of the red shirts times the profit per red shirt. So we have the profit here from the green shirts and the profit from the red shirts, and we're going to hit Enter. So it looks like in the month of January, we made a monthly profit of $28.02. Now, one thing I want to do before we get too far here, just to clean this up a little bit, this is $1.65. So we know it's money. So we can go and highlight this and tell Excel by pressing this button that we want to treat it as dollars. Just to put a dollar sign there to remind us what it is. And we can do the same thing for the profit here. And we have choice of different currencies here, but we're going to stick with dollars. And then the monthly profit that we calculate is also going to be dollars. So it's just kind of telling Excel what we're dealing with. It doesn't change the math, it just puts the symbol there for us. So when we highlight G2, the formula is given in the formula bar here. This is the monthly profit for January. Now, of course, we could go to February and we could type it in again. We could go down all of these months and type in the formula for every month of the year, and that would be fine. But that's not using the power of Excel. What we want to do is copy this formula down and have it automatically do this calculation for us. Now, there's two ways to do this. The easiest way to do it is look at this fill handle here. Change to a plus. If I drag it down like this, then Excel is going to know that I'm copying the formula. I'm not copying the value of $28.02 to the next cell. I'm copying the formula. So if we go back and look at this formula, it's B2 times C2 plus D2 times E2. And whenever I click this guy, it's B3 times C3 plus D3 times E3. Now you see what Excel did. It knows from this formula the relationship is all related to numbers in this row here. And it knows the relationship, so when it copies the formula, it's smart enough to apply the same relationship but to this row of data. So when you copy formulas in Excel, it's generally going to try to pattern match and figure out how, based on the relationship of the original formula, how the new formula should look. So I can take this and actually drag this fill handle all the way down, and I will get new data all the way down here. And if I examine the formula for any of these, it has the same form and the same relationship, but it's shifted down to row 6 now. This one shifted down to row 10. This one shifted down to row 13. And I think you can understand the power of Excel now because I didn't have to type all that stuff in. I literally just put the formula in one time and I drag it down, and that tells Excel what I'm trying to do. So the easiest way to copy these formulas is just to use the fill handle. Now, let me show you one more thing though. Let me go ahead and delete these guys. There's another way to copy formulas, something that you might use, and that's using copy and paste. So let me go and show you something real quick. If I right click on this cell and if I hit copy, then I'm copying the contents of the cell. So Excel has highlighted this guy and is telling me, hey, I'm about to copy this for you. So let me go down here and let me right click. And now I have paste options. I have different options here. If I select the first option, just regular old paste, then what I get is exactly what I want, right? What I get is exactly what I want. I get the formula pasted down there and it's adjusted for the proper row. So that's exactly right. Now, if I right click again and paste it, well, let me go ahead and copy it again. Let me copy this guy and paste again. If I don't use this, I can examine my other options. This is regular paste. This is paste value. Let me go ahead and click that. Now, whenever I selected this guy and pasted it, Excel, when you paste as values, Excel knows that you're just trying to copy the value of this guy and stick the value in the adjacent. No formula has been carried over. So that clearly is not what we wanted to do, but occasionally you might be doing something like that when you're trying to paste a value of a result of a computation. So let me right click and hit copy again, right click again. So that was paste as values. Notice it's giving me a preview. This is paste formula. So I'm telling Excel explicitly to paste the formula. That's exactly what I want to do. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you here is when you copy formulas, there's a couple ways to do it. You can drag the fill handle. That's going to always copy the formula for you. Or you can right click, copy. I can go and highlight my destination and right click. Now when I paste, if I do the regular paste option, Excel's going to try to figure out what I want. It's usually going to paste the formula. I can force it to paste the value, which is now copying 2802 everywhere, which is not quite right. I can force it to paste the formula. So generally you're going to do the regular paste option, but just be aware that there are these other options. Now there's some other things here. That's for more advanced things that we're not dealing with now. Generally, you'll be pasting as values or pasting as formula. All right, so now that we have a basic idea of how to do this, let me zoom out just a touch. Just to give us a little bit of room here. Let me go scoot over here. And let's do something else really quickly. Let's calculate the average number. So average quantity sold. So here is my data for the green guys, right? The green shirts, 10, 8, 5. These are the amount of shirts I sold each month. Now for the year review, I might want to know what's my average quantity of green shirts sold. Now I know I can type equal sign and type the word average out like I did in the previous lesson, but here I'm going to use auto average. So I'm just going to drop it down, select average, and Excel is pretty smart. It knows that I'm trying to average up these values here. It does extend it down to include my title. That's really not going to matter much, but just to make me feel better, I'm going to just select the data I care about. So that's the average value. So when you look at what I've got here for the green shirts, I sold 10, 8, 5, and so on. The average quantity sold for the year per month, the average quantity per month is 6, right? So let me type in a title over here, and let's say what I want here is the average quantity sold for the red shirts. Now I could do the same thing. I could do auto sum, and I could highlight this and all that. But this formula here, this auto sum, this sum of the previous values here, I can just copy this formula. This is an average formula, right? So if I do that, I can right click, I can hit copy, and then I can put it over here, and then I can do right click, and I can do paste, or paste formulas. I know I don't want paste values because I don't want to copy the value of 6. I'm just going to do paste. And let's double check what we have here. When I highlight this, it's the average of D2 through D13. D2, which is right here, through D13. So those are two really good examples of when you might want to copy formulas in Excel. In the first case, we calculated the profit for the month of January, and then we pulled it all down and copied and pasted the formulas, so the formula changes at every single location, and it's smart enough to figure that out. Next, we calculated the average quantity per month of shirts that we sold for the green shirts, and then we copied this formula over here. When we pasted it here, Excel knew that the relationship was, okay, I'm averaging the items above it, and it does that relationship based on what you copy from. So when you're copying things in Excel, especially formulas, Excel is going to try to figure out the pattern. It's going to try to create a formula that matches the same pattern. This is really the power of Excel when it comes to math.